Ladies and gents, I present to you Setup Wars episode 368, Ultrawide edition. It's been a very long time since we've done a special edition of Setup Wars, so I figured we can do one before the year ends. Every single setup in this episode will feature at least one ultra-wide monitor, anything with a 21:9 ratio or larger. It's not about inches, it's about girth. Oh yeah. Anyways, we got a jam-packed episode for you guys. Sit back and relax. Hit us with a new intro. Let the Setup Wars begin. There is nothing more spookier in this world than having the Windows watermark appear on your desktop wallpaper. Luckily, there's a simple and much cheaper solution to this. Instead of paying full price for a CD key, you can pick one up as low as $23 from VIPyourCDKey.com, the place I've been using to buy all of my keys for over 5 years now. They have all types of CD keys, from games to Microsoft Office 2019 and Windows 11 Pro. But whatever key you do end up buying, make sure to use my code CS20 to unlock the lowest price. After checking out, just visit the User Center section up top, navigate to your orders, and click on View Keys so that you can copy and paste that into the activation settings of Windows and you're good to go. So if you're planning on switching to Windows or you're building yourself a brand new PC, click the link below and pick up a CD key today. You know, we haven't seen a desk PC setup in a really long time. Kicking off the show is Anthony Hopkins with his fully custom built desk. He's a robotic engineer from Canada who crafts everything he can at home, and you can clearly see that in his desk. He took inspiration from Setup Wars and PC Wars, designed it all in SolidWorks, built it in-house, and made it perfect just the way he wants. This being the Ultrawide edition, the monitor he's rocking is obviously an Ultrawide, and it's none other than the Odyssey G9. My man even included a clip of him peeling off the plastic from the bezels. A blessing to our ears. Of course, you don't really move the monitor around and it has padded legs, but aren't you afraid of scratching the glass panel? At least you have a mouse pad for your keyboard mouse, albeit a very small one for my taste. I would assume you don't play Black Ops 6 with those and you switch to a controller, as any wrong movement or even jewelry, if you wear any, can easily scratch the surface. Going with wireless peripherals was obviously the right choice, as you can't really drill into the desk from the top. We do still see a couple of cables from the remote PC switch and the mouse charger. I do suggest attaching the remote switch to the underside of the monitor or even behind it, as you don't really have to look at it when you're pressing it. And for the mouse charger, try running the cable along the leg of the monitor stand. It will look a lot cleaner afterwards. Now, if you don't actually game with a controller, then I do personally recommend getting a bigger mouse pad. The big downside to that is that it will cover up most of the PC. But at least this way you can protect the glass much better. Now all the cables are hidden in the compartment below the desk, so it looks like all the parts are purely for display and not connected to anything. It's got the Ryzen 9 9900X and an RX 6900 XT. Given that it's a custom desk, of course Anthony thought of cable management, and everything is beautifully fitted inside the dedicated compartments, as well as managed and attached right behind the desk. The decor would be the next thing I'd suggest working on, as the trim lining on the wall feels a little empty in the middle, and the orange shelves and the plastic buckets do look out of place a little bit compared to the rest of the setup. A great entree nonetheless. Thank you, Anthony, for participating. Cutting the curve is Atis with his racing themed setup packed with a full-on sim rig. He's an IT specialist from Latvia, and it took him 6 months to build his setup for work and of course racing games. Both productivity and racing games demand a lot of screen real estate, so we went with Samsung displays for both stations. The Samsung G9 for the primary and a 55-inch Samsung TV for the racing sim. I like how we put the G9 on a monitor riser, which freed up space on either side for the Edifier QD35 speakers and the Amazon Echo Show. You know, at first I thought the audio interface there was the Arturia, like the one I'm using for my own setup, but it's actually the Focusrite Scarlett that he wrapped in white. Very clean job if you ask me. Moving on to the peripherals, it looks like he went with the EpoMaker P75 keyboard and the Logitech G502X mouse. I've always said this in the past, that wrist health is always important, and sadly it's sometimes overlooked. So So I'm happy to see that he's got a walnut wrist rest for the keyboard and a silicone one for the mouse. I really like how the setup is balanced, in the sense that both sides mirror each other nicely. We got peripherals in the middle, audio devices next on both sides, and then the pixel drivers on the outer edges. We got the PC, PS5, and MacBook. The PC is nothing short of a beast, featuring an i9-14900K and an MSI RTX 4090 gaming trio. Those specs are exactly what you want if you need consistent performance for 3D modeling projects, and of course, racing games. Speaking of racing, that sim rig is a beauty. I recently built myself an updated one from Micro Center, and honestly, I've been enjoying my time on it, but I feel like I'm ready to take it to the next level. Anyways, this one looks like it's got the whole shebang. 2 steering wheels, a custom wood one and a sporty one, and he even uses an iPhone as a dash when playing. A really good looking dual setup, Atis. Thank you for coming on the show. We see dual setups often on the show. Usually it's couple setups, 2 setups in the same room, or a PC desk paired with a racing sim, like we saw in Atis's case. Dual PCs, however, are a pretty rare sight here, and Caesar is one of those people with 2 PCs in a single desk setup. That's because even though he's a certified forklift driver, he also does heavy video editing as a side gig and requires a separate powerhouse. You could say it's a Star Wars / Stormtrooper themed setup, judging by most of the decor on both the desk and the shelf. The foundation is a Lag Captain countertop on a sit and stand frame, and since he has both the PCs on the desk, it was a smart move to mount the monitor and the speakers to the wall. That not only freed up space, but also removed the necessary weight. Kudos to those standing desk legs for holding all of that metal. The peripherals are mostly from Gravistar. The keyboard is connected to both PCs, the Gravistar mouse is used for gaming, and Logitech One for editing. That big panel behind the keyboard is a Loupedeck Plus, which he uses to speed up his editing workflow. The desk also houses some collectibles, random gear, and PS5 controllers, but the highlight are obviously the 2 PCs. The one on the right is the editing PC built inside the Height Y60, and it features a Ryzen 9 5900X, an RTX 4070 Ti, and 64 gigs of DDR4 memory. The Thermaltake Tower 300, on the other hand, is mainly for gaming, with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and a custom painted Gigabyte RTX 4080 OC. Now, I'm not judging at all, but genuine question here. Wouldn't it be easier, and actually better, to use the gaming PC for all the editing as well? I mean, it's got much newer components, it's on DDR5, and I'm pretty sure the 9800X 3D outperforms the 5900X in most productivity tasks. You could technically sell the editing PC, grab an extra 32GB kit, and add more storage, and finish edits faster than you could ever on the older rig. Hell, you could even get a high-end 50 series card with the extra money and by selling the 4080. That's just my 2 cents. But if you really need 2 separate PCs for each task so you don't get distracted, that's another story, but just some food for thought. A great setup nonetheless, Caesar. Thank you for sending this in. If Matt Damon from The Martian were a retro synthwave fan and had a setup on Mars, this is probably what it would look like. Pure white like a spaceship cockpit, and with 2 accent colors framing the whole thing. The owner of this setup would rather stay anonymous and goes by Flair Tech. He's a 19-year-old from New York running his own TikTok shop. You can tell by the neon sign with his logo on the wall as well. He's rocking dual stacked monitors mounted to the wall. We have a 30-inch Scepter as the main and a 25-inch Kuri as a secondary. Now, I know what you're gonna say.
Ed, a 30-inch monitor is not an ultrawide, bro.
I don't know what that voice was. I was trying to imitate one of you guys. Like I said in the beginning, the aspect ratio is what counts. So it doesn't matter what the inches are, as long as it's a 21:9 aspect ratio or wider, it counts. The only potential issue is that it's a 1080p panel. On 27 inches, you can already see the pixels, and at 30, it might be even more noticeable. But either way though, you can't deny that the dual monitors fit the vibe nonetheless. So does the wrist rest actually. I do love the clean look. And on that note, do you guys think we should add our very own marble wrist rest on our store? I mean, we already offer wood and acrylic, but marble would also be cool. I'll leave a straw poll in the description if you guys want to vote. If there's enough demand, we will consider it. Anyways, getting back to the setup, looks like he's rocking all white peripherals. We have an Ola F75 keyboard and a Razer Viper V2 Pro mouse. And for audio gear, we got an Edifier QS30 soundbar, Alienware headphones, and the Fifine mic with its very own audio mixer. The overall decor is also white and very futuristic. And hey, looks like he's got the same exact Frieza figurine Caesar had in his PC. Speaking of the PC, it's a great looking system with another i9 14900K and an RTX 5070. The wiring is on point, especially considering the sit and stand desk. I mean, everything is attached to the desk and all the slack leading to the power outlet runs through a cable spine, so we can change the height of the desk without worrying about yanking any wires. Great job. This setup was a work in progress for over 2 years. Flare Tech's goal was to make a futuristic den, and slowly but surely he did it, starting with summer jobs, then a full-time job, plus a TikTok side hustle. You should be very proud, my dude. This corner is an inspiration to a lot of people. Thank you for participating. The last setup of the day is the yin to Flare Tech's yang. It's completely in dark tones and belongs to Flo, an office manager from Germany who put the whole space together purely for gaming and unwinding after a hard day's work. It actually used to be a fully white setup, but Flo decided to switch to the dark side, as he didn't like the way his white case looked. He's using dual stack monitors. We have a 27-inch LG Ultra Gear and a 34-inch MSI Ultrawide as the overhead. Both are backdropped by the 3D wall panels, framed with RGB lights, giving the wall a nice texture. I just love how the setup is symmetrical, both on the desk and the top shelf. Now, if we draw a line right down the middle, everything is balancing out when you look at it from the front. We've got speakers on either side, some plants, the mouse to the right of the keyboard, and a controller to the left. Then we have this lamp, a microphone to the left with the PC on the right. Everything was well thought out here. The keyboard is mostly for productivity, so I assume he games primarily with a controller. That's to be expected given he has not 1 or 2, but 4 controllers in this setup. 3 of them are actually displayed up top. Like I said, love the balance with everything placed symmetrically up there. Unfortunately, we didn't get any photos of the cable management. However, judging by how it looks from behind the monitors and underneath the desk, everything does seem to be under control, so I have no complaints here. The PC is a mostly black build inside the O11 Dynamic Evo, and surprisingly, we have another Intel system with an i5 13600KF and an RTX 4070 Ti. So before wrapping up, Flo left a note saying that this show has helped them through tough times over the last few years and supported him in getting back on track and finding focus again. Once again, I just want to say I am blessed to be in this position and to be able to help out in ways like this, even if it's very small. So I do want to say thank you again for the kind words, Flo, and thank you for coming on the show. And that is it for this episode, ladies and gents. Hopefully you're still enjoying the show. If you're still enjoying the show, make sure to toss a like to show your support. Also leave a comment below. Let me know which of these setups was your favorite. Thank you guys so much. I love your cheeks, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Yeah, cheeks.